And we're live. Hello and welcome and hello to a fully stocked Total Spotfest wrestling podcast. That right there, that's Jamie Faulkner. I am JJ Brownlee, and returning with us in all of his mustachioed glory, Mr. Austin Reddick. I mean, that's probably one of the best stashes I've seen you in, my man.
It's been far too long since I've rocked the standalone. It was time to bring it back.
I mean, that has got some links, some definition on it, a nice little curve. It's good.
That's the thing. Like, you can't get a true full mustache by just growing the mustache from scratch. You got to get the giant beard first, and then like Michelangelo carving the statue of David out of stone. You chisel it out of all that other growth, and you end up with a masterpiece.
Michelangelo carving. Okay.
Well,
all right.
Well, you succeeded, good sir. You succeeded.
I'm only like 80% sure it was Michelangelo that carved the statue of David, but I figure if you say it confidently, no one's gonna Google and check me on that shit.
It's one of the Ninja Turtles. You're fine. All right. You know.
One of the Ninja Turtles.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving some of your time. If this is your first time here, we do this every week. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. Give us a big thumbs up. It does help us out quite a bit. You can find us on them internets at Total Spotfest. Woo, boy, we got a lot to get to tonight, boys.
We sure as shit do.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of good wrestling. Lots of good wrestling.
A lot of good wrestling going on. Donatello, was it Donatello? Rob says it was Donatello. Or are you just going on my Ninja Turtle riff? I don't know.
I mean, he is legit an FBI gentleman. He's full-blooded Italian. Like, he speaks Italian and everything. I'm gonna consider him a source of truth.
We are going to go with Rob, who, again, Rob, you were given the opportunity. You got to hit us up. Let us know if you want to get in on the picks for the belt, because we did have the belt on the line this past weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So Jamie is looking to put a stranglehold on that sumbitch over there. And, you know, Austin has the prophecy out there. Is he going to finish the story of him getting the belt at Revolution? And I'm just looking for a couple crumbs to fall on my plate, for God's sake. That's all I really want at this point, you know. So Revolution happened on Sunday, fellers. And Jamie, so our group of texts that we had, you know, about 2/3 of the way through, Jamie asked the question. I feel like it's an obligatory yearly question he asked. Why does Revolution go so hard?
I mean, it's 3 years in a row. It's probably their best pay-per-view without being their best pay-per-view, if you know what I mean.
I mean,
like,
I honestly can't think of on the main card. I can't think of
the last match. It was absolutely perfect.
That's fair. I do think the main event failing that hard, it keeps it at an A pay-per-view and not an A+.
Okay,
that's fair.
I think if you put that match anywhere else in the show, you're back up to A+ territory. But that pay-per-view tripped at the finish line. And it was ready to set a world record, and then it tripped at the finish line.
I mean, you talk like we were going like they were going full chub at 100 miles an hour because, you know, and just I'll give you a quick little spoiler alert here. So for the five of us, Matt's now Megan's better half has now joined us fully, I guess, in the picks. But for the five of us had a perfect card up into the main event. So main event is where we differed, except for Jamie, who was way off on everything on his picks. He took some swings and didn't quite pay out. Let's put it that way. So 0 Hour had several matches. We missed one because they always add more, like day of, whatever, right? You know, but there's an 8-man tag. There's a trios match. There was the one match we had to throw out because, to me, it actually was the best part of 0 Hour. The Chris Jericho gravity thing with Bandito. What did you guys think about that? Does that give you any kind of like credit back to Jericho at all, or do you still not give a shit?
Not only do I still not give a shit, I give even less of a shit now. That was whack. That's not the kind of thing you do on a pre-show cold without, like, Jericho had been feuding with Bandito, but like it just seemed real awkward and out of place to have him bop Gravity on the head with a bat and steal and unmask him on the pre-show before you're about to see like 8 matches that are going to go balls to the wall, so you'll even forget about the pre-show. Like, it just seemed weird.
Yeah. That's
least
well said.
At least half the people watching had no idea that Gravity was Bandito's brother too. So I mean,
yeah, I didn't know that, and I watch the show regularly.
I understand the point of it, and everybody that watches the show knows I love me my lucha. Put a pin in that because I'm gonna pull that out very joyously here in a little bit.
I'm gonna pull out a lucha pin myself later.
we got a couple big ass lucha pins put in. You know, and yes, that is like the ultimate heel move, you know, to demask somebody. And while it did have some gravity when they did it, yeah, no one, it was just weird. But anyway, so we threw that out, but we had a couple other matches. But the main card, I mean, it's like the amount of go hard we had here, starting with Hanger versus MJF, which I didn't figure that was going to be our starting match. But I mean, I can't think of a match on the main card until we get to the main event that wasn't just fucking fire. That's I mean, everything was.
There was the tag title match.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that wasn't fire, but that was still fun.
It was fun. It went too long.
Yeah.
Like. Hurt Syndicate should have won that about 4 minutes, and it would have been perfect.
I love the Outrunners. Give him 12.
No. You give them a solid 4. They survive an early onslaught. They hype you up with a nice little comeback, and then you take that shit home because they're not beating the Hurt Syndicate.
No,
like,
they're not.
I mean, they basically
you know it's not going to happen. You got to shorten the match up a little bit.
Right. I mean, they basically did the match twice over is what my thought is, because they did the beginning there, the flurry, they're making fools out of you guys, go there, they beat them up a little bit, and then they came back and they did a little bit, and they had a fury, and then, so, yeah, I'm with you. Although I do love how they do the you son of a bitch with their double elbows. The
Predator elbow is the greatest tag team move this century.
And the fact that everybody chimes in on the you son of a bitch in the crowd. Yeah,
half of them have no clue what the reference is. That's the best part.
And that's fine.
I had
that's
to
fine.
explain that to T2G. He came over to watch the pay-per-view, and I had to explain to my tag partner about Predator.
Dylan, you son of a bitch! Bam!
Oh, and it's like T2G needs to watch Predator. That's all there is to it.
He said he'd seen it before. He just didn't remember that scene. But he's also like a decade younger than me, so like.
He's a child.
All
right. You had Okada and Brody King. Okay, that was Okada and Brody King. Hello. All right. Fantastic. Okada, of course.
And the lasers are there. Did you see that? He had
lasers were there, lasers. And they weren't just for Okada too. Did you notice that?
Yes.
I like them. So, kudos to them. First of all, they had like the big screen, so they did the different kind of, like stage, which I like, everything felt good and big. And, they're at a big arena again. I feel like, okay, I don't want to get off too much of a tangent, but I do feel like they have a few too many pay-per-views. I like how when they have their big 4, 5, if you include all in, right? As like big events, right? Because I think it gives it more gravitas. But I digress.
I think they have a solid number of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like at first when they started expanding, I was like, I don't know about that. But month in and month out, their pay-per-view is worth the $50, and it's a phenomenal, 3 hours, 45 minutes of pro wrestling. So I'm not necessarily sad about getting that every 4 to 6 weeks.
Again, like I said, it's just, I'm not going to dwell on it, but
Yeah.
this did have the big pay-per-view feels, which I feel like for Revolution, for Double or Nothing, All In, right? That's what you want to have, right? Now, of course, the way they've set it up, you got Double or Nothing and then All In, like less than a month apart. So we'll see how that works. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe. Again, everybody knew who was going to win this, right? But
yeah,
this is still a fun match to watch. And Jamie, I know you're well versed in Momo by far. You've been very excited about seeing her in a big, and she looked amazing in this match. I hope it really carried over to the American audience, to be honest.
Don't sleep on Momo. She's really good. Her English might not be good, but her wrestling sure is.
And some stuff that we'll talk about that they kind of previewed more there. So they did kind of pre-set up some things for moving forward. Okay, we're not going to dwell on that because we'll talk about that in Dynamite here in just a minute. It came down. We knew that there's going to be 4 matches that we were all like hell-bent on. Okay, so Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. I mean, I don't think any of these matches weren't what we were expecting them to be because it's hard not to be. But that I felt was, the only thing I want to say about that match is I felt it could have been a little shorter.
Yeah. You could have taken a solid 5 from that match and given it to Toni Storm and Mariah, and it would have been perfect.
I don't know what else you could have done in Toni Storm Mariah. That was.
I mean, you had.
If it wasn't for Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, that was by far and away the match of the night. It still might even be.
I disagree, but I don't know. I mean, that match was a bloody mess in the best sense of the word, right? Full on double crimson mask. The tape on the hands with the shards of glass. Oh, come on. I mean,
kickboxer, bro. Kickboxer. I was like, let's make this happen, dude.
And then followed up with a broken bottle in the vaginal area.
The no square. We'll call it the no square.
So the taped fists in the glass was the other 80s movie I had to explain to T2G while we were watching. Well, 80s and 90s, because there's not just Kickboxer, but there's also Hot Shots Part 2 with Charlie Sheen.
Where the Legos.
They put the gummy bears, dude.
They dip their hands, and then it's like sprinkles and gummy bears. It's like a Sunday bar toppings before they go fight.
Oh, good old Hot Shots.
Hey, he's got to beat Tong Po. Come on, man.
I was a kid seeing the original Hot Shots in the theaters when it came out. My best friend from like grade school, and we both damn near pissed our pants. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah, he's got walleye vision.
They don't do parody anymore, and it used to be so good.
I mean, you had the scary movies were the closest you got, recent terms, and
the first 2 scary movies were pretty solid, and then it just became let's crank one of these pieces of shit out every year. And
and then they just got even Meet the Spartans, and then it just
well, the Wayans brothers were involved in the first 2, then they weren't involved anymore.
Yeah,
right.
That's
explains a lot.
And hot take here. You want a hot take? I personally think Scary Movie 2 is better than Scary Movie.
I don't know if that's a hot take. I mean, they're both.
It's 50-50. Like I put them both on equal footing.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay, so Kenny Omega, that Mariah May, you also had, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. You talked about a little bit too. Just a bloody, gruesome, fantastic, as we knew it would be, right? Got me my bag of tacks, which
Dave Meltzer came 4 times during that match.
He sure as shit did. But I love, and this is kind of like some of the things that I really took away from this. We talked a good spot in the past few months about production, right? I love the beginning of this match, the way they did the entrances, the extended musics that they did for them, and then we're both climbing on the outside and the stare down on the top with the fans chanting Ospreay and Kyle holding his. I mean, the images, the way they did it, it was a fantastic way to set up, which you knew was a big match already. You didn't need it, but it was so good. Oh.
It was all-time great cage match.
Match of the night. Match of the night.
And I want to say match of the night.
You do? What's better than that?
I'm going with Swerve and Ricochet, man.
That was amazing too, but nah. Nah.
I don't know. I just because the thing is, like, you know, we've seen Ospreay and Fletcher go to these limits and, you know, be the best match on the so I don't want to say that we haven't seen that out of Swerve and Ricochet, but I just felt like that had so much weight, had a real good story they told with it too, the whole Nana thing with him being walking out, and, you know, and maybe it's just the heat that they've generated, Swerve and Ricochet. The crowd is so, like, the AEW crowd is so far behind Swerve. It is unimaginable. But I don't know. I just, for some reason, that match to me set it off a little bit more than even the brutal, bloody, tack-filled mess that, you know, of deliciousness that was the cage match. I'm going with Ricochet and Swerve.
That's fair. I would still go the cage match, but I mean, Ricochet and Swerve was absolute flames.
Absolutely was. Like,
and Takeshita and Omega was right up there too.
Yeah,
like, that was phenomenal.
And then more words of Snoop Dogg. Those motherfuckers don't miss. Like, it's just
so you lasted 1 weekend to Lent, by the way. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
we can blame Snoop Dogg. And then there was a main event, which we weren't excited about anyway. That is a place where we did differ. So Jamie, who at this point was out of it, unfortunately, not.
What happened? I had great picks.
We'll talk about those in a second. But Jamie, Megan, and Austin all picked Jon Moxley. Myself and Matt picked Adam Copeland to win. We did have a bonus question. Well, I'll get to it in a second. So the way it was coming down is, depending on the bonus question, if that played into it, the bonus question was, what is in Jon Moxley's case? Is it the AEW World Title? Is it the shattered remains of the AEW World Title? Is it nothing, which I'm definitely now on the board. I want to see nothing. I want to see it just be empty whenever they do open it. Or was it that the case would not be opened at the pay-per-view? Okay? Those who picked Jon Moxley picked that the case would not be open at the pay-per-view. So if Moxley won, 100% we're going to tiebreaker. Okay? Myself and Matt chose differently. He chose the AEW World Title, and I chose the shattered remains of the AEW World Title because I've been talking about that for fucking 2 months now, and I'd be too much of a poser if I didn't at least follow my own prophecy a little bit, right? So probably going to a tiebreaker if that happens. So match goes on. My thought was, what we had talked about, I felt like it was the time because we all picked Swerve except for Jamie. I assumed that Swerve would win, move into the number one contendership, but I also thought we were well past the time to get that belt off of Moxley. And I like the idea of Copeland winning, immediately being interrupted by Christian, who actually gets the title, and then Christian is the one who drops it eventually to Swerve down the road. That is where my brain was. Boys, why'd you pick Moxley?
I called the finish of this match weeks ago on this show.
Yes, you did.
You did.
I said
like to the point.
Cash in, and Mox was going to beat Christian. It was going to cost Edge the title. I saw this coming miles away. I didn't think that they were putting the title on Cope even for a second, and I'm glad they didn't because nobody wants to see Adam Copeland as AEW champion. Crowd wasn't behind him. No one's excited to see that match run back next week. We need to just move Cope onto other things away from the title. As much as the Death Rider stuff has gotten a little stale, you still need to build a babyface by having them beat Moxley for it. And you don't need to build Adam Copeland. He is what he is. I'm not sure Swerve's taking it at Dynasty, but we'll see.
Jamie, what about you? You the same thoughts?
I knew when I woke up in the morning. I'm like, yeah, this is the one match. This is my one match I'm actually picking. We're gonna get into that in a sec. And I'm like, there's no way in hell they are not having Mox win this. It just made too much sense because Cope's not Cope's over-ish, because he's got nostalgia, like
people like
fandom.
singing his song.
Yeah, which is rad. But then here we go. We have yet another Chris Jericho, thing going on. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think they need to put on somebody younger because he's all about the younger guys getting it anyway. So I knew Christian was gonna mess it up, and I was right.
Well,
on one thing,
you guys were right.
Two things.
And so it came down then. 2 perfect cards here. We're not counting the bonus question as a perfect card or not, but if we did, you'd be right on that too, Austin. You and the tyrant that is Megan going up for the title. So it came down to time. Now, Austin chose 18 minutes in a single second. Megan was at 15:32. And they went a surprisingly long 26 minutes and 32 seconds. I mean, that's some time given there. But that does mean that the prophecy has been fulfilled. Austin, he finished his story. I'm moving that belt virtually off of Jamie. Putting it on one Mr. Austin Reddick there. You're new.
That's the podcast equivalent of pointing at the WrestleMania sign and winning the title at Mania. I called my shot.
You called it 2 pay-per-views ago.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it. I didn't even need the Mark Stradamus hat to know what. Not only did I call I was going to win it here, I also called the finish to the main event weeks before. I'm on a hot streak, but I knew it was coming. And now I'm once again the champion.
Jamie, do you want to retort and talk about your picks?
Oh, of course. So sometimes, gentlemen, when you have opposing factions, they come together and they kind of a finger poke of doom. Just in order to make sure somebody doesn't win. And you know what? I will acknowledge him.
Yeah.
He won. But the FWO still holds strong forever, baby. We are the greatest faction that's ever been on this podcast. Most dominant. Best fans. Thank you. Thank you, fans. But then again, I will gladly hand this off to him this Friday night on the pre-show for Fountain City. So make sure you're watching it. I'm going to give this belt graciously to our new champion, Austin Reddick. But yes, Jamie didn't exactly do very well, and it just happens. Just happens.
I'm going to do the Mariah May and announce a championship celebration for the Friday pre-show. And then keep putting it off every Fountain City show, which Fountain City only runs like once a quarter. So like every 3 months.
Yeah, I'm like 4 shows.
Hey, you got to wear it to the ring. Like seriously, you got to wear it to the ring. That's my only one piece. You have to wear it to the ring.
Let me clear that with the promoter man, but I'll see what I can do.
I bet he'd be fine with it.
Well, we'll talk to Chase, and for those of you, we'll get to this more later on. But yes, Fountain City is this Friday. You can check out the pre-show here as well as their socials. We'll talk about Fountain City here in a little bit. But if you're watching us on the replay, or if you're watching us on Spotify or anywhere else, links are down in the description, guys. But congratulations to your new champion. The mustachioed one, Austin Reddick.
Also, to be clear, if I have actually picked, I would have won. Just so you know. If I actually picked. I had my real picks, and then when I picked, and my real picks ran the table, and I had the time.
You would have won by about a minute and a half over Austin.
That would suck for you.
Bro, going back to matches we could pull time from to give to Tony Mariah, this did not need to go half an hour. Like,
no.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like 26 and a half minutes. It was like, oh my God, right?
Insane long.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather see Sting's sons show up and wrestle than that. And Sting gear.
Fake Stings.
Have you seen him lately?
Sting? No.
Not lately.
He looks like a fucking silverback. Like his hair's all silvered out, and he's got like a longer goatee now, and it's all silver.
He doesn't have to be on TV every week.
Silverback.
He has to be on TV. He's like, I'm not dying this shit anymore. Fuck this.
No. Okay, you know what he exactly looks like? Everybody needs to do this after the show. But look up the crazy ape-looking thing from Creep Show, the very first Creep Show that was in the box. That's how he's looking. The
man doesn't want to groom. Let him be, man.
Dude,
he's retired.
I just was like, he's just letting himself age now.
JB's just mad that, at his advanced age, this thing has a much more advanced facial hair than he ever will.
That's true. Also, remember, I'm gonna have to go get a haircut, gentlemen. How you guys gonna do?
I actually need a haircut too. I'll probably do it in the shower tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Same. I got Town City Friday, Thursday night. I'll get the Bic out and just be good to go.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm gonna get freshened up.
Make it dolphin smooth here, man. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna put some lines in. See if they'll do lines.
You think we want to get our haircut? This is like, dude. Yeah, how much does that cost you? You go get some razors, right? I get like a 12 pack of like 4 cartridges at Costco. It lasts me like 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, like once a week I'll hit it with the razor and I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's it.
Until I get into my elder years, much like Sting, I'm just gonna let myself go, and I'm growing out the skullet when I hit like 60.
You look like Ricky Morton.
Hell yeah.
So I haven't shaved in a week, and I have maybe some fuzz on the back of my head now.
Dude, this is like 3 weeks worth of growth.
Yeah, I don't miss it. All right. So that was Revolution. Next pay-per-view is coming up here in April. It was Dynasty. So you know what that means, guys. We got to start building for Dynasty right now, okay?
Meow.
Right meow, okay? All right, meow? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get Kenny Omega on your screen at the beginning of the show, meow. And
I mean,
it's first of all, boys, how is Kenny Omega with gold around his waist? Yes, meant to be, right?
Wrong belt.
Well, true.
Wrong belt.
Who cares, right?
I do.
You're not gonna plunge him into the. I mean, I am good with him having the international title, while we're waiting for all the other kind of dominoes to sort themselves out, because you can move him in there when the time is right.
I like the idea of him holding the international title and going and defending it internationally. And like, you bring him back for a story that gets through pay-per-view, you send him around the world to wrestle for a few weeks just to keep him kind of fresh. Because I think the one downside to Kenny Omega is I don't know if he's a guy you can have out there every week. He's so damn good, you run out of shit to do with him. And so I like the idea of him being around for 4 to 6 weeks, disappearing for a few weeks, coming back. Like, I would like to see him get kind of rotated in and out.
JB just
I want him to have all the damn belts.
He wants to have
I want him to
the
be
big
the
belt.
belt collector of AEW. Remember when he did the belt collecting like of other places?
Yeah.
I want him to collect all of them in there. Like a fucking Infinity Stones.
Like
I am
Kurt,
cussing like a mother today. I'm sorry.
Like Kurt Angle did back when he was in one of his runs in TNA, right? He literally at one point had every belt in TNA, including the tag team championships, which they found a way to justify that, but literally, he had every belt, everyone. Do that with Kenny, I mean, there's a lot of belts. So, but they open it up, which of course it means it's that time of year, boys. March Madness is right around the corner, okay, and I'm excited to have my dreams crushed in approximately, I don't know, 8 to 10 days from now. But it's tournament time. So we got to have an overly long, complicatedly named tournament. So the
International Championship Tournament.
Oh, no. The Dynamite Eliminator International Championship Tournament.
Whatever.
It's a lot of words.
Dynasty, not Dynamite. Yeah. It's like, why do we do so many words on our fuck? Okay, but so anyway. So 4 matches over tonight and Saturday. There's going to be a 4-way match next week on Dynamite. Thankfully, they're not making it too predictable of multiple rounds. So you have 4 matches. You have a 4-way next week. That will be your number 1 contender for Kenny Omega's international title, and of course you got international flair. So we'll talk about the matches here in a little bit, but you got some Americans, Canadians, Japanese, Mexicans, a little bit of everything in there, going with the spirit of the international title.
My only problem is I don't think it's a proper tournament if it's over in a week.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need the word tournament, for one.
This is the number 1 contender.
Like, if you're going to make a graphic for a bracket, give me a couple rounds.
2 rounds. At least 2 rounds. Like,
right. 8,
do
4?
do like quarters into semis into finals into you are the guy.
You have 4 matches, 2 matches, 1 match winner. But no.
Yeah, you got enough time to just do this as a single elimination tournament. I mean, the 4-way will be good next week, but like,
true,
a whole ass tournament.
It was so you get a half-ass tournament here, but that's okay. You do have Ricochet in the tournament as well too, so. You had a lot of promos, both kind of at the show and also promos that were like kind of like post-Revolution, that video shown on here. So AEW did quite a lot of trying to wrap up some stories and muddying the waters for moving forward with others, So right after Kenny Omega's spot, there was the match. You had a triple threat match between the Ops, Samoa Joe's team, and Vinny Pacifico, and I have here 2 jobbers. I did not catch their names. I'm not looking it up either.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I just saw Vinny Pacifico. I'm like, hey, I know that guy, and it's like you look different from the last time I saw you.
Yeah, he's beefed up. He's a little beef in it. He does like guys nuts. That has been confirmed, for sure. But good old Vinny Pacifico. Anyway. Quick little squash match there, but then they get into a lot of other stuff, right? Quick question. Do you guys give a shit at all about Samoa Joe and this faction?
No.
Only in the sense that I get to see Samoa Joe on TV, but he could be doing literally anything else, and I would be just as into it. So
right, very fair.
It has nothing to do with Hook or Shibata.
Very fair. I think that hurts Shibata the most, to be honest with you, but whatever. Because I love Shibata, but he's just kind of there, right? He's going to be in the tournament on Saturday. He's going to be facing Ricochet in what will probably be one of the best matches in the first round. We'll see. Ricochet did a little promo again about how he got screwed out of this, and he didn't care about that ugly robe. So I love the way he's doing the deflect angle. Okay, so deflect and move on. Right? And he's focused now on other gold, right? And I tell you what, I really don't mind the idea of a Ricochet Kenny Omega match. It is a boring name.
I'm only interested in 2 potential outcomes, and one is definitely Ricochet. The other one we are going to talk about here in a minute. That's the only other one.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm okay.
I mean, Ricochet and Omega would be great. I would be fully on board for Mark Briscoe and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
no complaint from me there, man. I mean,
I think that match would be just straight up fire. Like, I think it flies under the radar, but I think Mark Briscoe can go with the best of them and keep up with the best of them, and Kenny Omega can push anybody even better than they are. Like, I think they would absolutely tear it down.
Plus, it's not something you would expect, and it's a different type of match for Kenny Omega, where he doesn't have to sit there and sell his injured, intestine for the 15 minutes. So
Face is hard to do, but I think that's a situation where you have two faces that are so over with the crowd.
Well,
it would make the crowd reaction even better.
Over the crowd, and also, Jamie, there's a lot of experience between those two faces.
Just a little bit. Just a skosh.
Rob wants to see a bunkhouse match. Okay, Rob, go back to vacuuming.
I haven't seen a good old bunkhouse brawl in some time.
We haven't. We really haven't.
Or a Pier 6 brawl.
No, because they only do regionally specific brawls now. It's all about what city you're in. It's that insert city name street fight. Okay. Well, speaking of street fights, you're not going to get a street fight from Swerve, although, goddamn, we've seen what he does when he's in those. But he did let everybody know on the little interview when he's taking his title shot, kind of poeticness here. 1 year, roughly, to the date, at least in the wrestling calendar, 1 year, he's going to be facing the champion at Dynasty. Now, he also was interrupted in this by Copeland, who cuts a promo on Swerve, but not really. And he still wants a title shot. Okay? I'm roping in two promos together and we'll talk, okay?
Yeah.
Right after that, you had...
getting mudged.
Yeah, right after that, immediately after that, you had a Mox promo coming back from, because that went to commercial, came after commercial, the Mox video promo. And Mox's promos are fantastic. No matter what you think about the Death Riders thing, Mox he's fantastic, right? So he puts it out here that he underestimated Copeland, right? And this is their first time actually one-on-one, right? But he underestimated him, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he offers to him a no disqualification, don't want him, right? No count, I don't need him, right? So a street fight, which was immediately announced, is going to happen next week in Omaha on Dynamite. This is our championship picture, ladies and gentlemen. We have a street fight rematch with Copeland on Dynamite next week, and then Swerve's going to get the winner at Dynasty. Thoughts?
I don't care.
Yeah. I'm going to give AEW the benefit of the doubt because they don't normally make this mistake. But when you throw a match out there and the general consensus reaction was, yeah, we didn't care and that wasn't good, don't run it back 10 days later. Just
right?
Move on to other things.
And
the only positive that came out of this was Christian and his progeny, just going face to face about it, and that was the only thing. It was the only positive about it.
Wait for that. Yeah, but you're not wrong. And the point is that you in the pay-per-view. And this is a classic angle. You talk about back in, we made reference to this here, but you talk about back in the NWO days, right? It was the classic angle. Like, one of the biggest events, we've talked about this before, right, was when Goldberg finally dethroned Hogan at the Georgia Dome for that title, right? It was the homegrown WCW. It was the WCW, the one, the face, the guy who you're putting all your hopes on, right? He is the one that took down the evil empire, right? In the most spectacular fashion possible, right? And you're basically setting the line, especially with the way you ended the pay-per-view, you're setting that same storyline up. Swerve is the one who has the meteoric rise, right? And everybody, he is the most over man in wrestling. He is all AEW, right? Even though he didn't originate here, he's bled for this company, literally. And he is the face, he is the young hotness, he is the one to take it off this. But you're gonna throw a boring ass rematch street of fight before. It's like you cut yourself off at your own feet. There's no need for this extra match.
Yeah, like, could we have just not done Mox and Cope at Revolution, saved it for next week's Dynamite? Like, Revolution went perfect, ending on the cage match. Swerve earns his title shot. He can announce he wants it at Dynasty, and then they could be like, well, we'll figure out who fights next week. Because I think the Cope and Mox match would have been better as like a 15-minute street fight to main event Dynamite. So maybe next week they're just trying to give us what they should have gave us at the pay-per-view. Because I was saying all along that needed to be a gimmick match. But even then, no one cares. No one is behind Cope taking this title. Like, they like to sing the entrance theme, but no one was ever really behind him as a babyface in general. Like, he's always been better as a heel. The crowd does not care to see him succeed here. So let's get a new challenger out there.
Well, and they are behind, to Jamie's point here, they are behind Christian as a heel. And Jamie already started to go down this path here. So Christian promo, Jamie, why don't you first of all, I love Christian so much. Starts off the interview saying that you're related to John Moxley, and I am not talking to anything that's related to John Moxley, to Renee Paquette, right? And she continues to try to, are you just stupid? Do you not understand what I'm saying? And basically shoots her off. But yeah, Jamie, is this the kink in the armor? Is this the Nick Wayne meteoric rise finally? What do you think?
No, I think if anything, it's going to make them stronger because the son stepping up to the dad, if you will, and calling him out. Of course, every dad wants to see their kids stand up for themselves. So I'm thinking that's kind of what happened here. I think it's not going to affect anything. If anything, maybe we get Nick Wayne and I can't think of his name. In a
Kip
tag
Sabian.
Team. Thank you, Sabian, Kip Sabian, in a tag team going for like some gold or something like that. Legitimize those two together. Especially, I liked how Mama Wayne got right in the way, and he's like, "Do you want to go back to working 4th shift at Waffle House?" Like, bro,
He is so seamless with his. I mean, is there a better deliverer of just some heel shit, Austin Reddick, than Christian Cage?
You'd be hard pressed to find one. Like, he's so good. He's so good at the delivery. Like, yeah, I don't know if there's well, yeah, I think delivery specific. I think Christian's currently the best. I do have another low-key honorable mention for doing some of the best heel work on the mic right now. We can put the pin in that, or we can hop to another segment. It's up to y'all.
We'll go to it right now.
Did MJF?
One thing about that though, I just want to say
it's what Ricochet. Yes.
No, not Ricochet.
Oh, I love.
Okay. Okay. All right. Before you get to that, I do want to say that I agree with Jamie. I don't think that there's going to be, because they tease it, I don't think that's what's going to happen. You're not going to have the break off yet. But I feel like them taking him from Whipping Boy, which he's been for the past year or so, right? Legitimizing Nick Wayne. They're doing everything right to make Nick Wayne a megastar in 2.5 years, 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's just not the time yet.
They put him under the tutelage. He's got beat up for a bit. Now he can go through. He can win a little, lose a little, win a little, lose a little, right? I think that they're giving him some wings to stand a little bit, but he's not going to be out on his own. But I think that, again, they are, for any criticisms people give AEW about building and stories and long term and whatever bullshit the internet says out there, I give you Nick Wayne, because they are doing the correct thing by this man, and in a couple years' time, he is going to be, on another level. So anyway, all right, go Austin. Let's portray. Who is your person?
Yeah, we will hop to another segment, and luckily it was largely a throwaway segment, so it won't throw us off the rails too much. Some of the absolute best heel mic work in pro wrestling right now, Platinum Max Caster.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the thing that popped me the most was when the crowd started chanting "Shut the fuck up," and he just turned and went "Stop," and then went back to cut his throat. Like, he's got that character down on lock, and I love how hard he's leaning into go out there and talk a bunch of shit, take one bump and get pinned.
Yeah. Never thought in a million years I'd be a Max Caster fan, but here I am.
Right.
Here I am.
And I mean, just the giddy blindness of him has been great. He got beat by Konosuke Takeshita, for those of you who weren't following along. But
we should talk about the pop Takeshita got as soon as his music hit, bro.
Yeah. And in a way, this is Takeshita a lot of good, right? He's angry. He's mad. He lost this. He's not immediately going back to Kenny, though, right? He's taking his frustration, his anger out on the rest of the world. And they have a lot of fantastic future stars. Okay.
I think they did a really good job tonight of following up on people that lost at Revolution, having them acknowledge it, but then move on to the next thing.
Right. And of course, the next thing for us is of course one of the most important things that happened tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We saw in person Harley Graham.
Oh yeah, we did,
dude. That was so cool. Like, you saw him come out, and then I was like, "Wait,
you're like, who is that?" And they announced, accompanied by Harley Graham. It's like, bruh.
That's how you know she is an undeniable amount of over. It's like, well, we got to find something for Harley to do tonight. She'll just accompany a lucha to the ring, and people are here for it.
I mean, she randomly got involved in whatever 8-man tag or whatever match it was, or the 6-man with, against Taya Valkyrie on the pay-per-view. It's God bless you, Harley Cameron. But no, Hologram, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dralistico and Brian Cage, because we're just sure, whatever. But it was fun. It was fine. But Harley Graham, let's go.
Harley Graham and Brian Cage catching the suicide dive and suplexing Hologram.
Yeah,
was phenomenal.
I mean, I know that you sang a lot of praises, but Brian Cage, man, God, I'm glad he's actually good. Actually, he's in a good spot where he's being utilized, and not just why don't we ever have him, but every once in 6 months you throw him out there to like job 2 matches, and then he goes into. I'm glad he's actually being utilized. So
he's better than Commander. That is not a hot take. That's a fact.
So there you are. All right, you made a mention about MJF. Let's go there next. Okay, so there was a promo earlier in the night with the Hurt Syndicate, and post-match, little record promo that, yay, MJF tells the boys, you guys take the night out. We're in LA. Go to the beach. Go to here. You're not too far from this. Bobby Lashley wants to go to Gold's Gym. He's like, no. Go. Take a few days off. Go relax, right? Which, of course, Shelton Benjamin's like, we're still going to the gym. And MJF's like, I'll take care of Dynamite. Okay? Which leads us into, surprisingly, somewhat, the first of 2 MJF promos of the night. Okay? MJF was shown like being all mad and yelling at himself in a mirror after he lost to Hangman at the pay-per-view, and then live promo, a very typical starting MJF promo, right? I got screwed and all this and whatever, F it, moving on, this town sucks, blah, blah, blah. Enter MVP. What do you guys think of MVP and MJF's retort? I have a few thoughts.
It
I
was
loved it.
completely unexpected
Mm-hmm.
in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
One of those
Agreed.
things like, wait, who's coming out to talk to MJF? All right, I'm here for this.
Yeah. They do the stare down and then the hug, right? Find out a little story about how MVP knew MJF from like when he was 18 years old and all this, right? Backstory. And then he talks about how MJF's gone soft and, how he's out here pandering to the crowd and how he basically offers him a spot in the Hurt Syndicate. To which MJF says no, and then takes the card anyway at the end. Should we see MJF in the Hurt Syndicate? Thoughts?
No, he doesn't need them. That's my opinion.
I would be on board with it, but I don't think that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
Like, I think MJF with the Hurt Syndicate could be really good TV. I think him having some competent muscle that's not War Dog. And I got nothing but love for War Dog. He's great, but like, he is what he is. I think him backed up by Lashley and Shelton is a good kind of different wrinkle for MJF. But to me, this seems more like the very, very early stages of an MJF face turn.
I don't want that. See, like, I think it's good that they're adjacent, like they could do business together, but I think it's more of they need to stay apart but still be cool with each other, like, heels being cool with other heels. I think that would be the best payoff for this. I don't see MJF doesn't need a mouthpiece. Where Shelton and Bobby do. And then hopefully Cedric Alexander as well. But we'll see. I was kind of hoping we'd see Josh Alexander pop his head out at Revolution, but that did not happen. Even though he has reportedly signed with AEW. I don't see the reason that they need it. I just think they should work together. Do some stuff, but not like be a thing.
I like the thought because again, it's unexpected. Like to Austin's point, there, it's one of those unexpected things, but sometimes those turn out to be good things, right? And I agree that it wouldn't necessarily be like a full on, like fit in there, but some sort of relationship. I like the thought of because it's something different. Until the later on promo, when you had Renee walking with Hangman, who they bump into MJF. And MJF more or less cuts a very Ric Flair-esque promo on Hangman in the back. And be that as it may, however you want to take that, right? I feel like that's the best place for MJF, right? People enjoy him. They cheer when his things, and then they boo when he comes out, right? So they love to hate him. And that's kind of the point. He is, and just bear with me, okay? He is AEW's modern day Ric Flair.
Okay.
Not a terrible analogy.
No. I got nothing. Ask me who I think Hangman is then.
Dusty.
100% Dusty. That's a little nail on the head. Yes, I know.
He's the American Dream, baby.
Maybe it's just the mustache, but I still get more Magnum PA vibes from Hanger.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
He cut off some of his hair too. Did you notice that? He's got more of a reformed mullet.
He's got a summer cut. It's a little getting warm out, I mean, it's damn near 80 this week here, so hey. Anyway, like I said, I just got tons of Flair vibes from him, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that with that, I like the idea of him encircling the heels as they go about, right? He's already done that with the Don Callis family. He had a cursory, like, money relationship with them, and do the same thing with the Hurt Syndicate. Sure.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I still think this is the beginnings of a face turn.
I hope you're wrong, like on every level.
I think it'll work if they do it right. I think it goes back kind of the story they've been telling with him and Hangman. It very much started as him calling out Hangman like, you're not that guy. And then Hangman pointing out that deep down you actually care. Like, I think if they take their time and tell it right, you could actually see character growth and like a reason for MJF to become a face instead of he's just best friends with Adam Cole, so we're just going to cheer him because they're funny. Like, I think you could actually tell a really good story with that at this point in time.
Okay. So a more organically legit way to face turn him.
Yes. Like
Okay.
actually seeing the character change instead of like, they're just doing shit we like, let's cheer for him.
I'm with you there.
And then he can always turn back heel later down the road. Flair turned back and forth several times. Like,
well,
you could
Flair
always
was,
do it.
I mean, Golden Age, especially Golden Age Flair. And yes, I understand internet. I know it, Ric Flair. I get it. Okay, I know. Ric Flair also is cornerstone of wrestling for decades, right? So, I mean, back in those old days, I mean, even though he was considered the top heel, he got more cheers than half the people out that when he was in Mid-South, dude, David Crockett Promotions, like, yeah. So, okay, so does everybody have their keys ready?
Absolutely. Mine are definitely in the bowl, bro.
Jamie's been ready for this. All right. So after the bloody gorgeousness that was the Hollywood ending, we're led into Tony Storm's promo, of course, by a Ben Mankiewicz announced. I love how Ben Mankiewicz is a part of this AEW. It's so out there. I mean, okay, but let's say, ladies and gentlemen, a really good video package. One of the best video packages, not going to lie, right? Let us into Tony Storm's promo, okay? So she comes out.
How about that video promo, though? Can we just talk about that video package?
I have been,
just for
yes.
a
Talk
second.
about it. Go, please.
Like, one, it was just glorious. And
so
two,
good.
the whole, when she had her shirt and then she pulled it off and she was black and white underneath, dude, like, that was just cinema. Oh, good.
Very production, once again. But that doesn't matter, Austin, because here comes Tony Storm, and the Tramp is still the champ.
Yeah.
She said that I had to write down a lot of notes here, right? But after that's all said and done, she talked a little bit about Mariah May, said it's time for a new beginning, okay? And then she talks about how she's not a pussy, but invites the women's locker room, quote, "Put your keys in the bowl. And ladies, let's get this orgy started." And then continues to go on for at least two more lines about sweating and grinding and, and all its gloriousness. Heather! Well, hey, Heather. Much love to Heather, our mod there in chat, guys. All this is said and done, and then at the end, she gets attacked by Megan Bayne. So, Austin, start with you. How ready for the orgy are you? And like, love, hate Megan Bayne moving in immediately to the title picture? Go.
Hate Megan Bayne.
No, we got to start with the orgy question. Orgy first. The orgy's always first.
I was excited about it, and then Megan Bayne came out and attacked Tony Storm, and I lost all mojo for the orgy at that point. As we discussed a few weeks ago when Megan Bayne first showed up, like, you got something there, still needs some refining. Hopefully they don't push her too fast too soon. And here we are, like 3 weeks later, and she's setting up a title program with Tony Storm. And if you were listening after she attacked Tony Storm and hit her pose, you probably heard several crickets from the people in attendance, because it was a mild reaction at best, because the crowd does not care about Megan Bayne yet. They will.
No.
I think she'll get them there, but too soon.
Are you just now seeing chat, Jamie?
Hi, Heather.
Do you not have your chat front and center like the rest
No,
of us
I
do?
didn't. I just moved it over.
I even said hello to Heather when I started this whole thing. Austin, that definitely heard me. So
I was not. I was in the middle of reading something. Sorry.
hello, Heather. We
the production of this. I apologize. I'm trying to read my notes.
You're good. You're good. Heather, we do love you, and we hope you're doing well.
Yes. Literally just sent her a message. That's hilarious.
Well, there you go. And here, asking. Okay, so orgy Megan Bayne, go.
Yeah, too soon. Hashtag too soon. There's been, this is what, twice?
Yeah.
Twice.
Sorry, I just reacted.
I feel like they have gone way too soon with what they're doing. I still feel like Hanger and MJF was too soon. Y'all gonna fight me about that. I still feel like that is something that you could have built up to All In, but it's fine, whatever. This 100 million% way too soon. I agree with you, Austin. Like, the reaction was minimal at best. You're trying to build up this monster, dude. You're just trying to build a monster, not just give the monster a title shot. Like, it doesn't make sense. Pretty much. I think I was expecting Camille to come back because she's done filming her movie.
I mean,
Tony
Camille's
Storm was in the movie too.
right, but Camille's got to fit into somehow the Mercedes Moné storyline, which Mercedes shot a promo where she's giving Billy Starks a shot next week. Which, hey, Billy Starks on your TV on Dynamite. Way to go, Billy. We all know her.
Little Billy Stark.
I just, again, like, I felt like they expected a bigger thing, like more people to know more about Megan Bayne when they brought her back. They didn't, and they should have done like you said, Jamie, right? Okay, let's go here. And they even, later on the night, they actually had her come out into a more apropos place for her to lay the groundwork for something like this in the future. But I don't know. This is the thing here that my concern is, and I think Austin, you talked about this too a little bit with Tony Storm back when they flipped it over to Timeless, right? You don't have anybody to take this belt off of her at all, right? There's no woman, no storyline at all that can come in here unless you spend a year's worth building something that can rival and get in there. Maybe Jamie Hayter down the road, but who knows? We haven't seen her in God knows how long, right? So, as much as I love Tony Storm, you booked yourself into a corner of sorts.
Yeah, like they really don't have any other heels to throw at her right now.
They got one. They got one.
You're talking about title.
Yeah, because she did make mention in her promo about a belt collector.
I mean, that's the only logical way you really have right now.
I think
that's when you have Camille come back.
I think they're slow rolling to Athena and Mercedes and All In.
Well, I think Billy's the entry for Athena naturally, right?
Yeah.
Which, as much as we love Billy Starks here, yeah, that's what you do. That's the right thing. They've been smart, just like they have with Nick Wayne, to have Billy under Athena, right?
Yeah, but like you have no other heels outside of Mercedes. I mean, we already said why Megan Bayne is not the move right now. And you got Penelope next to her, but Penelope is also not the move ever.
Yeah.
Who do they really have for heels outside of that in the women's
I mean,
division?
Penelope's a heel. Serena Deeb's a heel. Taya Valkyrie.
Britt Baker, who cares?
Well, they have Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo. You know.
I'm just trying to think of who else.
As deep as their roster is, I mean, because Julia Hart's kind of face-ish, right?
Yeah, but she ain't it.
No, she's not it. I'm just giving you like who they have, right?
I mean, Turn Thunder heel, Turn Thunder Rosa heel.
I don't.
You could, but
Oh no.
Uh-oh. He had a thought. What's the bad thought? The doctor?
I don't think Britt Baker's coming back.
I pray to God
sure.
she doesn't, but she does make a lot of sense to throw at her.
She makes a lot of sense. She is much better as a heel. I mean, I think that's the thing is like in a way, it's like Tony's so good with her character and what they've created with this that you almost have nobody on the roster that can even get into her same stratosphere. No, you definitely don't have anybody on the roster who can get into her same stratosphere. So you more or less.
I love how Heather's talking about Taya, how she's making out their husband like a filthy heel. My favorite part is how MXM had no idea that they were married. Like that whole thing was absolutely sold.
MXM is low key. You know, they are so good. So
the models just kissing like they know each other.
Okay, I'll let you go with that hot take. I mean, go with that, Heather. I don't know. I mean, she was wrestling before she met Adam, so
I kept
anyway.
going because of Adam.
True. All right, so you had the one women's match of the night was Penelope versus Willow. Okay. Willow Nightingale, good to see. Penelope getting a lot of airtime lately because that's kind of how AEW does things. They run them in cycles. So you run women in cycles. You're on TV for 2 months, and then you're on TV for 2 months, but you know, it was good. Penelope attacks Willow after she wins, and of course that brings out Chris Statlander, who they've mentioned multiple times how she's trying to rekindle her friendship with Willow. They just have them hug it out and be done with this. And then comes Megan Bayne into the spot that she should be in, which is, you know, jumping Willow and Chris.
Yep, that happened.
I mean,
yeah, it definitely did happen.
I'm looking for anything here. All right, so tons of promos. Yeah, Jay White promo right after Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay came out. He injured the piss out of he bruised the shit out of his hip on that Smash Fly, right? He's limping out to the ring, and it's a good fun promo, right? He tells a little anecdotal story about his wife and all this stuff, and then makes mention to the thing that we've been talking about, you know, when is he going to be in a title picture, which he then peers out into the crowd and stares lovingly at a sign pointed up in the arena. And this is sign pointing season, ladies and gentlemen. So he more or less calls his shot for All In, the biggest show. He's entering the Owen Hart tournament because it is tournament time, right? Because he wants to be the one. Early money favorite, surprisingly, is going to be Will Ospreay. Let's be real, guys. But puts that out there. And then, of course, Jay White comes out with a fantastic Jay White promo. So he's still got Cope's back, blah, 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 this and that. But he makes a lot of hints and references at Will, you know, nods to their time in New Japan, how he got preferential treatment over him, you know, saying a lot of things in a few amount of words. So Jay White moving back to heel maybe is going along here after this whole Cope shit's finished up at Jamie?
Maybe. I hope so, honestly. Like I do I have actually enjoyed the face Jay White more than I honestly thought I would. But I want my King Switch back. You know, I want my Switchblade. And him as a heel is just fan freaking tastic. And I'm praying that's the move. Maybe they're already starting to move it. I don't know. I think everything just needs to end with Death Riders before that happens. But I could definitely see those two just having a little tangle at an upcoming pay-per-view.
Maybe for the Owen Hart tournament championship.
Oh man, maybe.
I think we could get Jay White heel turn as early as next week.
Oh, me likey.
Hashtag
I mean,
too soon.
No, not for
they
that.
asked him if him hitting Cope was an accident. It was at the time, but he kind of played around with it a little bit. Cope isn't winning next week.
No, of course not.
And it is a no holds barred. Like there's going to be a shitload of run-ins.
Yeah,
I could definitely see Jay White hitting Cope with something, and then them doing a program with Cope and Jay White. Probably at Dynasty.
By Dynasty, and then that leads into he joins the tournament as well. The Owen, right? You could end the Owen with Jay White versus Will. Will wins. Will gets a shot against Swerve at All In. Jay White's waiting in the wings afterwards.
A lot of options.
I'm willing to entertain Jay White turning next week only if, like, after he hits Edge, Copeland, Adam Copeland, he's like, "You were the chosen one. You're supposed to bring balance, not destroy it." Sorry, that's all I want. That's it. I'll entertain it. Other than that, I don't want it.
All right, boys.
Star Wars reference.
So we saved these to be the end of the show here because we talked about at the beginning. Dynasty International. I just started scribbling, a scribble after a while.
The international #1 contenders. Like that's it.
It's whatever it is, right? So these two tournament matches, okay?
Tournaments.
So you
say tournaments?
I said tournament match.
I think you said tournaments.
Whatever I said, man. You need to stop drinking Celsius this late at night. All right.
I'll drink Celsius. I just snort it.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. So you had two Eliminator International Championship tournament matches, right? So you had my match of the night, which was the Beast Mordos versus a debuting Speedball Mike Bailey, and you also had the one that ended it, Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero. So.
Luchas. Two completely different style luchas.
Absolutely. And everyone can figure out why I chose Beast Mordos versus Speedball as my match of the night. But what were your guys' thoughts about the two matches just in a broad sense?
I felt like Dynamite as a whole was missing like a banger match for a show that's following a pay-per-view. Like it seemed very much like they left a lot of their bigger names to heal up, which there were some real big matches maybe to some extent. But like kind of felt more like a B team Dynamite tonight. I mean both the matches were perfectly fine, but just nothing felt like a big time match.
No. I'm with you.
I think that's why it's perfect for Speedball to appear tonight. I think it makes a lot of sense. His match was great. I love Speedball. I've seen Speedball now 3 times live. Megan got to meet him and like melted because he is legit the nicest guy of all time. I mean, he is the epitome of the nice Canadian, you know. But
that's
yeah,
Canadian
so
with
he was
85 abs and a 4th degree black belt.
Yeah, like, and he was like totally like, "Oh, you want to take a picture?" Blah 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 blah, like just chatting us up, and just had a great time. And of course, he had Manders right there too. So it's cool as fuck.
That was awesome.
But anyway, like that dude, this is a perfect night because to your point, Austin, I completely agree. Everybody was off resting. They had to rest because people got the shit kicked out of them.
Will
Like,
could barely fucking walk, man.
You had a quick little ricochet thing, and that was it. Like, there's nothing else from him, so you saw him. And then, like, Swerve's got a busted eardrum, but he still came out, did a quick talk, and didn't do anything else. So there's no, like, true grabbing matches. Now, Hechicero, I love that because he is a submission technician, or savant, if you will. And some of the stuff he was pulling out made my heart very, very happy.
Bro, I don't know why it's never caught to me before, too. Hechicero's music goes fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just like, I'm sitting here and actually I was just finishing up my dinner as I was eating my pasta, and I was like, oh man, I never paid attention before, but my God, it goes hard. Speedball, I like having Speedball in AEW, right? I feel like he can get into a good spot there. Good one there.
I'm pinning it. That gets pinned.
For those of you wondering what you're saying, go to YouTube, watch our replay. You'll see it's fantastic. All right. God bless you, Heather. We love you. But, like I said, as much as I love Speedball, Beast Mordos might be one of my favorite wrestlers, and he doesn't get enough credit. That's a large man that can do stupid things, right? He should not be able to do. Always wearing a mask that is like way too cumbersome for the things he's doing too. It's not a lucha mask. He has like he's got a headdress thing every time, right? Black Taurus. He wore a giant cow head. Now he's the Beast Mordos. The eye holes.
He looks like he should be in Labyrinth. Like it's made by fucking Jim Henson.
I mean, and that man is so good. And so I want to give him his flowers for a minute, because I mean, I think that's what we know what Speedball is. Speedball does some stupid flippy spinny shit, you know?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I don't have anything against Speedball. He just does nothing for me. The giant crazy cow luchador should have won. He should pretty much always win.
Yeah, he should.
He should be the best because he's a giant high flying cow.
But he didn't. Speedball won, and then you had Orange Cassidy getting the victory. No surprise, let's be honest, over Hechicero.
Hechicero should have won too. Just put the luchas over.
That would have been a stunner if they put Hechicero over on Orange Cassidy. I would have been in. I would have been so in on that deal.
Hell yeah. Orange Cassidy can take the loss. It doesn't matter. He ain't gonna lose.
He's Orange Cassidy. And it's a tournament, so no one knows who's going to win.
No one knows who's going to win. Not going to be the Luchas, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're all eliminated, right? They're all done. Because who's Mark Briscoe facing off against?
Mark Davis.
Mark Davis, yeah.
So he gets the Aussie, and then you have Ricochet versus
Shibata.
Thank
Shibata. That should be a really good match. That match should go so hard.
So the good matches are saved for Collision after the pay-per-view, Austin.
Yes, they should be.
Well, that was Dynamite. That was good fun. We did get a good amount of lucha tonight, though, as far as wrestling goes.
Speaking of luchas, I would be doing everyone a disservice to bring the stash back and not bring the stash back.
Oh, we going full stash of knowledge, boys.
So I do have a stash of knowledge this week, and this week's stash of knowledge is a general PSA, because I recently learned something that I must now share with anyone else who might be unawares.
Oh.
If you go on Pluto TV, which is free, most smart TVs have the app. It's also on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There is a channel that shows nothing but AAA wrestling all day long.
What?
Bro.
It's hidden, though. It's hidden. So if you look under sports, there's a TNA channel on Pluto. But if you look under sports, it's nowhere to be found. But if you keep digging and you go to the In Espanol section and scroll way down to the bottom of their 60 Spanish channels, there is a channel that just shows AAA wrestling all day long. And me and the wife have been watching a lot of that recently.
Oh,
They're just showing
dude.
like a string of episodes from like 2018, 2019. And it's great because you get a lot of luchas you're familiar with that have come into AEW and that you've seen around. You also get a lot of American talent that you don't expect showing
Mhm.
up.
Yep.
So what a time it was when I'm sitting here watching AAA. Maybe I'd had a few beers earlier in the night. That's neither here nor there. But Dr. Wagner Jr. comes out to cut a promo.
Oh, Dr. Wong. Oh,
He is then
so
interrupted
good.
by Santos Escobar,
Of course he is. Yes. Mm-hmm.
who is then interrupted by Double J Jeff Jarrett.
Mm.
You must have been in heaven.
Not only does he show up, Karrion Kross is there.
Oh.
Back when he was Killer Cross, just beating
Yeah.
up luchas and
Yeah.
beating up merch stand people and just being a menace in general, which is great. Random Darby Allin sighting. This is 2018, 2019, so it's just
18
pre
and 19.
AEW. So
Okay.
you get Darby Allin showing up. You do get the Beast Mortos or Black Taurus as he was at the time.
He is Black
Just Samoan
Taurus.
dropping the living shit out of one of the luchadoras. Didn't catch her name, but they're not shy about the intergender down in AAA.
Nope.
So he drove one of them through the mat. I still don't know. I think it's like Poder del Norte or something like that. It's some group of 3 guys who look like the Mexican Shield. They're out there in camo pants and t-shirts. But like every episode is them just like beating the shit out of 3 other guys.
Yeah.
Phenomenal time. If you were not previously familiar, bring up Pluto TV, go all the way to the in Espanol section, and just keep scrolling for what seems like an eternity until you hit the promised land of just nonstop AAA wrestling all day long.
Well, I know. I know.
Amazing.
I was gonna watch Daredevil this weekend, but I think I might just have to dig it. And
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
your
wait
po-
for Daredevil to be done before I watch it. So I can
Yeah, I
binge it
think
all.
I wanna, because
Yeah, I'm
Because
gonna let
it's
that fully
actually
release.
got good reviews for
It's got- I've
a
been-
Disney Plus show.
and I've been trying to stay away from anything because I don't want any Punisher spoiled at all. I know he's just going to be a little bit in this, and they're doing a one shot with Bernthal, but I don't want any Punisher spoiled. Heather, to your point, Psycho Clown is Triple A's John Cena.
He doesn't
Somehow.
scare me.
Clown was there.
He doesn't scare me.
Was it so 2018-19? I think that's like early Psycho Clown. Was he there
I'm
at all?
not
Or
familiar enough with his career, but he is there.
he is there, yeah. I guess the earlier he had peak like stuff like couple years ago, 22 ish. You know,
Yeah.
he was like when he almost got demasked. Almost, he didn't even get fully, but he almost got demasked. Half the crowd was crying. It was insane, you know. But oh my god,
It's so
Dude.
nice. I think my favorite part about watching is it is on the in Espanol channel, so it is no dubs, no nothing. It's just in Spanish.
It's how you learn Spanish.
But the fact that despite not fluently speaking the language, I've picked up plenty. I grew up in South Texas. I took some Spanish in high school.
Yeah.
But without really being fluent in the language, you just get all the character across from the faces and the heels. Even when they're cutting promos, you don't know what they're saying, but you get the point. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Lucha, hop on Pluto TV and catch up on some AAA because it's a great time.
Oh, Triple H
I
is
think I
so
will.
good. I mean,
And
CMLL.
Heather
Good.
also, yeah, Heather, by the way, I am calorophobic. I have a deathly fear of regular clowns. They have to be regular clowns. They can't be scary clowns because I know they're supposed to be scary, and then they're not scary to me.
And
And if they're real, flip me out.
He is not
I
kidding.
freeze.
He almost fired somebody one day when they tried to pull a clown thing on him.
Yes.
That's a shoot right there. CMLL is like the long standing. They've been like 92 years, whatever, right? You know, they're like the old stalwart, right? But AAA, and that's what I'm saying. It's like that universal. I love AAA. I love what they've done. They've had
It's so pro
long-standing.
wrestling.
It
Like
is.
it's very classic pro wrestling, but lucha.
I mean, and they've had long-standing relationships with a bunch of promotions in America, right? They had I think they had promotion. I think they had connections with WCW. Where I don't know where the overlap is. I know at TNA. I know here recently they've had stuff. So
They had it with WWF in 1997 because a bunch of their luchas
they
showed up in the Rumble.
did have WWF. That's right.
Because WWF was trying to launch like a Spanish language show in Latin America, and then it didn't really work out because people don't want non-luchas. Yeah. Like
It's
you
definitely-
can pull in a few to AAA or CML, you can bring some guys from the States, but like they don't want someone else producing their lucha libre. They want their authentic lucha libre.
Well, it's definitely a different vibe. It is its own vibe, and Triple Mania is an event. I mean, it is, especially pre-pandemic. It was up there with WrestleMania. The production they put into that shit. So, okay. Anything else? So the only other thing I want to talk about before we get to our local stuff here, Jamie, is some Fed talk. So, it is sign pointing season, as we all know. We talked last week about EO getting the women's championship, and there's more women's gold moving around. NXT this week, title for title match, which everybody under the sun assumed was going to end in like a DQ or some bullshit or whatever. Nah, put all the gold on Stephanie Vaquer,
as they should.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean-
I think by like SummerSlam, she's probably up to the main roster.
I don't know. I mean, she was okay. Per sources,
Be in.
Triple H gave her the option to start on the main roster or go to NXT. She chose NXT. She willingly knows that she's not fluent in English and she wanted to learn the WWE way. She would be a success on the main roster today. We all know this. Like half the people in AEW had no idea who she was, and literally 2 minutes into her match, they 100% flipped and were cheering for her. The woman is a star, but
Yeah,
I think she's smart about it too, which is why I think I like her so much, because she's not so full of herself to like just take the easy route, right?
But yeah, I think by like SummerSlam, when we get into late August or something, that'll be enough time to get her feet wet in NXT. But like, she's too much of a star to keep down there for too long.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I think Julia needs more seasoning, to be honest. I know the
Yeah.
production on Julia is great, but she's just not hitting with the crowd yet. She really isn't. But Stephanie is, man, her pop is ridiculous every time she comes out.
Oh yeah.
People love Stephanie Vaquer, as they should. She is so good.
She's amazing. I did see somebody did. It was a couple years ago, but it was a wrestling podcast of some sort. Did an interview with her where they'll do this interview, and it's a couple. Go figure, Jamie. A couple more stout gentlemen that do the podcast, right? But one of the guys that just sits down, and for those who are from Mexico or Japan, right, try some American delicacies. By American delicacies, I mean McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, bunch of,
That's awesome.
saucy nuggets. Anyway, and she just dug into everything. It was just, going ham about it. It's just like, okay, all right, yeah. But I haven't followed up much of the other Fed outside NXT. I know that, Austin, you were subject to the typical post WWE pay-per-view trap.
Yeah, like me and the wife, we watched Elimination Chamber. We're thoroughly impressed. One of the better WWE shows I've seen in a long time. We decided, like, hey, that was good. Let's see what Raw has to offer the next night. So this is last week's Raw. And last week's Raw was a thoroughly enjoyable 2.5 hours of pro wrestling show. I was like, oh shit, WWE might be back. And then we watched Monday night, and they were They were not so back. I do that. It seems like their floor has gone from god awful to just meh. But
That's better.
That's fair.
like they had back-to-back days where I thoroughly enjoyed their product, and then a week later it was like, this was a show.
Got to mix it up. Like I was saying, I know you. The one time you guys checked into it, you didn't really vibe with NXT. I'm telling you, man, they got some good stuff going on in NXT. I will defend that.
It doesn't hit every time, but it does hit more often than not.
And if nothing else, there's at least a few very high quality, spots in every episode, right? So
That's fair.
all right. Anything else we want to get to, Jamie? Hey, what are you doing this Friday?
This Friday, we are going to be doing the pre-show for our local promotion, Fountain City Pro. Also, what are you doing?
I'll be kicking some ass on Friday. I'm swinging by to take my belt off of you, and then I'm hitting the ring to throw some hands.
Let's go. Have they announced your match yet?
Do what?
Did they announce your match?
I don't think so.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's just.
Yeah,
I didn't see a graphic. I
settle
know they
down.
did like the reveal show like yesterday, the day before. On
Yeah,
YouTube.
I don't have the reveal show put up. I don't want to have my sound get too fucked up here. So, Austin is going to be there doing something. Yeah. Okay. But
I will be in singles competition.
Okay, we can go that far. So all right. So be
I'm
singles
not going to say who I'm
competition.
wrestling. I don't know if they announced it or not yet, but I will be in singles competition. My man T2G is wrestling down in Georgia this weekend.
Oh, okay. All right. So this Friday, come on out to the Ball Event Center in Olathe, Kansas, over there on the campus of Olathe Medical Center, right off of I-35. $20 of tickets. There's no front row remaining, but there's plenty of other seats remaining. That space is great too because they can never unless they just go ham, they can always add more seats. Like literally, they can just open a wall up and you have another section. So plenty of seats still available there. It's a fantastic time. It's going to be a beautiful evening here in Kansas City. There might be a little bit of rain during the day, but we're not going to have no strong storms or anything crazy. So it's going to be a fantastic night for wrestling. The card is as follows. So line it up to name of the show. Okay. So we're going with the, second annual. On this, your main event is going to be Camaro Jackson, the Grand Regent, defending the Fountain City Pro Championship against a debuting Sam Stackhouse from GCW fame. You do have Luke Langley going one-on-one with the master of the Tornado DDT, Fuego del Sol. You have one Miss Heidi Howitzer going up against Ashlyn Alexander. We have Jake Parnell, otherwise known as Warhorse.
Formerly known as Warhorse.
Well, he has Warhorse on this poster, Jake Warhorse Parnell. So
now he's Sad Horse.
He's Sad Horse. Well, now he's he's almost emo horse. Almost.
He's gotten a little bit better since he did the whole nihilism thing. He's gotten better, but he was like full on super sad horse. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now he's like morphed it a little bit, but it's better.
The super nihilist. Yeah. Yeah. But he's going up against Kansas City's favorite twink. He wants us to call him that. Anakin Murphy. I'm not kidding. He literally said that in the last paper. He wants us to call him Kansas City's favorite twink. All right, okay, you're on. Little Annie. Which, I mean, God, if you go back and watch Fountain City Pros, go all their socials linked down below. Right? Go back, check out the last event they did at the end of last year, him and Gary J's match. Oh, gloriousness. And then you got the premiere, do some tag team action against Only Friends.
Wonder what kind of crazy games they're going to play in that thing.
I think one's going to involve Well, we shall see. So anyway, this Friday, doors open at 6. First bell is at 7:00. We'll be coming on before that here on this channel right here. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. You'll know when we go live. But we'll be live here. We're also going to be live on the Fountain City channel as well,
YouTube,
and
or Facebook.
YouTube and their Facebook. So
Yep.
we'll be all three. We'll be all over the place. We keep adding equipment. We got some things planned. It's actually going you probably don't want to miss it. It's going to be a really good show. And there will be a belt exchange, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Well,
Yeah.
find it up for me.
I will. I'll make sure it's nice and clean for you.
Belt
Do you
collector
ch-
now.
okay.
If anyone's listening to this and you have a podcast where you have a belt online for picks, coming for that one too.
he's taking all these belts that don't involve getting inside the ring. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
All right. Anything else you boys got this evening?
Nope.
I'm good. There's a lot
I'm
of
good.
pro wrestling to talk about.
A lot of pro wrestling. We are still in sign pointing season, so there's a lot of wrestling to be had coming up here. We do have Dynasty. So we have Dynasty and, let's see. Yeah, Mania's next month, right?
Yeah, Mania is a little bit later in April. It's like the 19th
Okay.
or something like that.
I'm trying to figure it out because I think, yeah, so Dynasty is our next event that will have the belt on, then Mania. So I'll probably win Dynasty because it's like a week there, and then I'll get embarrassed by Megan probably to spit on my manhood a week later because that's my karma. But whatever. We, again, will be live this Friday, so thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do this every week. If it's your first time here, we come in about a half an hour after Dynamite finishes up. We hope to see you all again. Have a wonderful weekend. Follow us if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit the like button, and we will see you guys this Friday. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down till Spotfest, I got 5 words for you. I love you, Austin Reddick.
Can't see the finger. I gotta like.
I hate you all so much. All right, guys, that's it. We'll see you next week. All right,
Are
bye.
you not doing your normal thing?
He's not doing his normal thing. It's the outro. All right, see you. Bye.